He needed a break. I'm Travis Delaney, 34 years old, and I work in agricultural machinery procurement at Ironwood Forge. For the past 3 months, I'd been organizing the perfect getaway for my parents' 7 luxurious days in New Zealand. I booked business class seats, Lakeview lodges in Taupo, private vineyard tours through Marlborough, even scheduled a helicopter ride over Milford Sound, something my mom always dreamed of. At 4 a.m., I pulled into their Denver driveway. Engine humming, ready to take them to the airport. This wasn't just any vacation, it was my heartfelt thank you before I relocated to Berlin for a new role with our European division. One last chance to make memories with Russell and Diane Delaney before we were separated by an ocean for who knows how long. My mom came out first, dragging 2 suitcases, that familiar nervous smile on her face, the kind that comes before unwelcome news. Then out walked Uncle Boyd, 58, unemployed for over 10 years, lugging a duffel like he was off to summer camp. "Where's Dad?" I asked through the window. "Inside," she replied. "But there's been a slight change of plans." Then Dad came out, clapping Boyd on the back like they were heading to a high school reunion. "Son," Dad said, approaching my window with that final tone he uses when he's already decided something. "Boyd's been under a lot of pressure. Lost his warehouse job recently. He figured this trip might help lift his mood. He's coming with us instead." I blinked. "Come again?" "We already switched the ticket," Mom added, shoving Boyd's bag into my trunk. "You travel so much for work anyway. You'll understand one day." Boyd stood grinning, hands in his pockets like none of this was strange, like I hadn't spent my savings and vacation time planning something just for my parents. Like he hadn't mooched off them for 5 years while pretending to attend interviews that led nowhere. I didn't yell. I didn't reverse out in a rage. I just sat there, hands gripping the wheel, watching my breath mist up the windshield, in the cold Denver dawn. "All right," I finally said. "Enjoy." The drive was quiet, apart from Boyd rambling about how excited he was to see the Southern Hemisphere. My parents nodded along like this was always the plan, like I was just there. Driver. At the airport, I helped with bags, watched them walk off. Mom turned back once to wave. Dad never looked. Something inside me cracked that morning. I just didn't realize how deep it went yet. Boyd had always been the fun uncle growing up, the one who showed up to BBQs with some wild tale or new girlfriend. He'd tried construction, insurance, landscaping, always an excuse when it failed, and another next big thing in the wings. Somewhere along the way, his charm became just empty talk. My parents either never saw it or refused to admit it. When he got evicted 3 years ago, they let him move into their basement temporarily. When his truck got repossessed, Dad co-signed for a new one when he needed money for training programs. Mom handed it over quietly, asking me not to mention it. I'd warned them kindly at first, then more firmly. His family, Dad always said. You don't abandon family. By my count, Boyd had lived through 15 rough patches, but I stayed quiet. They were adults, their house, their money. But this was different. 6 months earlier, when I got the Berlin offer, I'd started planning this trip, something meaningful before the big move.
Ow.
New Zealand was Mom's dream. She'd hoarded travel magazines about Queenstown and Rotorua for years. I found a boutique lodge in Hawke's Bay, booked a table overlooking Wangamatta Harbor, even arranged a meeting with a Maori cultural group because Dad loved Indigenous history. Nearly $15,000 went into this, and they handed it over to Boyd. Warning signs were there. Boyd asking questions about the itinerary during dinner. Mom dodging my questions about how excited they were. Dad mentioning Boyd seemed down lately. I should have known. I wanted to believe they valued the gesture. I was wrong. Driving home alone from the airport, it hit me. In their eyes, Boyd's emotional state always took priority. Might carefully planned gift didn't stand a chance. So I sat in my truck outside their home for nearly an hour, heat blasting, engine running, staring at the now empty driveway, processing how 3 months of effort had been brushed aside. It wasn't just about the money, or even Boyd getting a free ride he hadn't earned. It was about what my parents chose. Faced with my effort and Boyd's guilt trip, they went with him. I got home, sat at my laptop, and opened the confirmation emails. Hotels, flights, tours. Then I began canceling everything. Lodges in Hawks Bay and Queenstown, the spa resort in Rotorua, the rental car, the wine tastings, helicopter tour. Each click felt like I was closing a door they'd chosen not to walk through. Then I took it a step further. I emailed New Zealand immigration, polite, professional, factual. I explained Boyd Delaney might be entering with an unresolved legal matter from Colorado. Provided full name, birth date, and flight info. Nothing untrue. He'd even joked about those fines at Christmas. Then I changed my own Berlin flight. I'd be gone in 3 days instead of a month. The company said I could start early. I suddenly needed to... No yelling. No drama. Just quiet, deliberate action. They'd made their choice. They could deal with the results. At 6 a.m. the next day, my phone rang an international number. I ignored it. At 6:15, I picked up Travis. Dad's voice strained. "We're at the airport in Auckland. How's New Zealand?" I asked. "There's been a situation." They pulled Boyd aside at customs. Something about unresolved legal matters. Oh, those traffic fines he was dealing with. Apparently they're still unresolved. They're questioning him now. "Where are you staying?" The hotel said our booking was canceled. Same with the rental car. All the reservations. "Got canceled, everyone," he said. "How's Mom?" "She's upset. Been crying. Don't know what's happening." "Boyd's still being held. Maybe you should come home. You spent so much on this, Travis. Your mother was so excited. Excited for the trip I'd planned for her. The one you gave away. Why didn't you say something before changing?" "The plan." Silence. "Your uncle needed it, Travis. You're young. You travel all the time." "This wasn't about travel. It was about you and Mom. You'll be back to visit. That's not the point." "Are you saying this is your fault?" "No, Dad. I'm saying things unfold as they're meant to. We're stranded, Travis. Boyd might be deported. Maybe Boyd can help with the costs. He's unemployed. You know that? Then maybe he shouldn't have gone. This isn't like you. You're right. It's not." That day, I didn't answer their 16 follow-up calls. I handed over my projects at work, prepped for Berlin, and started packing. That evening, Boyd showed up at my door. "They sent us back," he said. 6 hours in customs. Your parents are a mess." And weirdly, the immigration guy said someone had flagged me with detailed info name. Flight, those court fines. Pretty specific. I said nothing. "You sabotaged your own parents' trip. It wasn't theirs anymore. It was yours. They invited me. You manipulated them into it. You're ungrateful. They've given you everything, and you've taken everything. I'm going through a hard time. I've been in a hard time since the 90s. They're good people. They are. Too good to see what you've done to them? And this is your big lesson?" No, this was the consequence. Boyd walked off. I finished packing. The next morning, Dad called. "We need to talk. I'm heading to the airport. You canceled everything. Tipped off immigration. You gave away my gift. I just made sure you got what you asked for. Your mom's heartbroken. Tell her I love her. I'll call from Berlin." "What about Boyd? What about me, Dad? I'm family too." Drove off. At the airport, I ignored every message. The flight was peaceful. I read, watched movies, and rested. When I landed, there was a text from Dad. "Your mother says she understands why you're upset. Call when you're ready." 3 weeks later, Mom called during my lunch break. "Hi, sweetheart." We asked Boyd to leave. When, last week, he'd been using our card to buy stuff. $1,500 worth. I confronted him. He got angry. Blamed you. And your dad finally told him maybe we should have turned against you a long time ago. They gave him 30 days. He moved in with a friend. "We feel stupid," Mom said. "You saw it all before we did." There's a difference between helping someone and letting them walk all over you. What changed your mind? Sitting at that airport, watching him blame everyone but himself. Dad got on the phone. "I owe you an apology." "You don't." "Yes, I do. We threw away your gift. Treated it like it meant nothing. I wasn't angry, just disappointed. Are we okay?" "We're okay." 6 months later, I flew home for Christmas. On the drive back, they asked about Berlin. He didn't mention Boyd until I brought him up. He's back doing construction, Dad said. Thinks we'll invite him to Christmas, will you? No, Mom said. We're learning boundaries. That night, we flipped through old photo albums. Boyd was in many of them, smiling, the center of attention. You know what we want? Mom asked. What? To go to New Zealand? The right way? With you, you don't have to? Want to? Dad said. When you can take vacation? I pictured it sunrises, vineyards, no drama, just us. I'd like that. Later, I walked past their basement. Boyd's room was empty, ready for something new. My phone buzzed. Text from Berlin. How's Denver? I typed back. Exactly what I needed. Sometimes, the greatest gift is showing people what's worth protecting.